Hello, my name is Greg Story. I'm the president of Dale Carnegie Training here in Japan. Yogi Berra, famous American baseball coach, had a great capacity to murder the English language, but he did say one thing which I thought was very profound. He talked about leadership. He said, leading is easy. It's getting people to follow you that is the hard bit. And he's absolutely correct. And what we're seeing in Japan today is actually a crisis in middle management leadership. We've been through 20, 30 years now of stagnant economy. We've seen many companies disappear. Companies have not invested in helping their leaders to really understand what is leadership as opposed to what is management. And the product of this long period of non-investment is we're now into a couple of generations of Japanese middle managers whose only education has been OJT, or on-the-job training. Well, if your boss is really great and is really capable leader and very professional, OJT works fine. However, I don't think there are too many bosses like that running around out there in business in Japan today. And so what we have is a lot of mediocre, untrained leaders passing on the little that they know to each generation, and it's sort of getting less and less and less and less and less relevant to the needs of today. We see leaders and managers, but what's the difference between a leader and a manager? Well, a manager manages process, and that's very, very important. But a leader does more than that. A leader, yes, they manage the process, they execute the policy, but they also build the people. And this is a critical part of growing businesses today, because realistically, people are the difference. So what are we thinking here? Why are we not getting anywhere in leadership? And just on top of that as well, we now have this younger generation, the Yutori Sedai, or the millennials, equivalent millennials, I suppose, for Japan, coming into the workforce, coming into the first stages of ranks of supervision and leadership, and they are a completely different game. Middle managers trying to deal with these people, they do not know how to handle them. So we've got a couple of real breaking points starting to collide here. We're hitting some new challenges, and technology is great, but you can't get everything done through technology. We really have to grow our businesses through the quality of the people who are working for us. And this is where leaders are particularly key in developing the level of those leaders. Japan really is famous for taking the long-term view, which is absolutely great. Not so great on the innovation side though. And this is where we think, oh, well, maybe Japanese are just good at copying. No, my experience, Japanese are just as innovative as anyone else if they're given the right leadership and the right chance to be innovative. So the innovation capacity is latent, and we need the leaders to help bring that out, get the ideas out of the group and send them up to the senior leadership for policy change or putting money behind it or effort behind these ideas. One of the other issues, of course, is engagement, motivation. Japan's engagement scores are not very high. There's only, according to the Gallup polling organization, there's about 7% of Japanese are fully engaged. That means 93% are not fully engaged. That's a pretty big number. So the leader's responsibility is to really get that engagement level up and get that commitment up, because if you're not engaged or motivated or committed, why would you bother to be innovative? You don't care. You just do your little job and go home. So we really need to get people motivated, and one of the things that really crushes motivation here in Japan is the performance evaluation. And when we talk to companies, leaders, we're doing the training for them, nobody likes the evaluation process, either doing the evaluation or receiving it. So there's a lot to be gained here by improving in that area, and make the evaluation process, which we must do, but make it something that's actually motivational and inspiring for people rather than crushing them, which is what we have now. Some other areas that leaders could probably do some work on. They're time poor because they don't know how to delegate. This is a big problem. They do not delegate. If you don't delegate, you can't develop the next generation of people. You've got to give them a chance to take on tasks at the next level up. And you are still in position so you can delegate to them and let them do that. And mistakes, handling mistakes in Japan, big problem here because the whole ethos is no mistakes. That's great, but if we're going into innovative ideas and we're going to trial things and we're going to get out of our comfort zone, we are definitely going to have mistakes. So how do we get the balance between innovating and dealing with mistakes as they come up? If it's, please innovate, but I'm going to give you a smack across the ear if you make a mistake on the way through, then leaders are just killing the whole innovation process. So handling mistakes in Japan is a very, very critical area. Now, communication is another area that's really got a lot of work to do. The ability to explain things clearly, concisely, be able to stand up in front of a group and really get them excited about where we're going with the business, making sure that everyone's working well together. These sorts of things are important. And meetings, oh my God, meetings. Japan, lots and lots and lots of meetings. Probably there's lots and lots of meetings everywhere, but Japan, we have lots of meetings. The trouble is, a lot of those meetings are not very effective. An hour meeting seems to be an hour meeting, regardless of whether it takes an hour or not. So there's a lot to be gained for leaders being able to better, use the leader opportunity to guide people through meetings, but be doing that in a much more time-effective and efficient way. So we still see a lot of gaps there. It's sort of all by just how we've always done it type of process, but we can do better than that. So leadership is a very key area in Japan here for the future. We are not seeing the gains we should be seeing from leadership groups who are currently doing that, and we're not seeing the successor generations being developed in the right way. We have a 7-week course called Leadership Training for Managers, and this is time-spaced. So each week you do 3.5 hours, and in between those weeks you take what you've learned and then you apply it in the workplace, and then you test it and change it and advance it and modify it and see what's working for you. And then you come back the next week and report on what's happened there. It's a very, very thorough course. Actually, right through the middle of this course, there's an innovation project that you do. Now, it might be something you're already working on and you include that in the course, or it might be something that you want to start. And at the end, in the 8th week, you're not with us anymore, but you'll be in front of your boss presenting that innovation project to your boss. So not only do the people on the course get the benefit of the very, very high quality content of the course, they also get to complete an innovation project on the way through. Again, we teach the innovation process, we teach the planning, we talk about the execution, and we actually get a chance to do it during the course. So this is something that we need to see a change in Japan in our leadership capacity for development, and this course will bring together all of the information that your leaders, current leaders and your future leaders will need. So all the details are in this video. We do it in-house, we can do it public, we have public courses running, very flexible. We only take 20 people in the class, so there's a lot of personal coaching going on there. But you can actually get a lot of benefit for your team. And if your team is really professionally developed in leadership, you are going to outstrip your competition because they're all still stuck back in OJT, on-the-job training from mediocre level leaders, which is going to take them absolutely nowhere. So, hope you can join us on the course, Leadership Training for Managers. It will change the direction of your company, and it will be only going one direction, and that is up.